Well, the New Patriotic Party is demanding an unqualified apology from former President John Dramani Mahama to the judiciary, as leadership of the party insists that the National Democratic Congress's decision to contest the 2020 presidential result was without adequate evidence and was a grand conspiracy to simply destabilize the country. Here's General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Justin Kundia Frimpong, speaking at a news conference earlier today.
As we have previously admitted, our dear country has in the past few months endured some challenging socio-economic conditions, partly attributed to the adverse impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic and worsened by the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. Depreciation of the cedi against major trading currencies, particularly the dollar, surge in prices of petroleum products, and rising inflation nearly destabilized the local economy. As the ruling political party and as national officers of this great party, the New Patriotic Party, we received numerous petitions from the length and breadth of the country, which employed us and the government to urgently address these socio-economic conditions which had increased cost of living for ordinary Ghanaian and nearly suffocating businesses. Consequently, the leadership of the New Patriotic Party had several engagements with government with the view to addressing the legitimate concerns so expressed. It is heartwarming that following these engagements, remedial interventions put in place by the Kufuor government are gradually yielding results. And indeed, we can all attest to it. As evidenced by all and sundry, the cedi has, in the past few weeks or two, witnessed significant gains in value, appreciating by some 63.7% against the American dollar as of December 2015-2022. This appreciation has been widely described by many economic watchers as an unprecedented feat in the history of our country. Interestingly, our political opponents, as usual of them, when they were blaming government policies for the cedi depreciation, are now saying we should not attribute the gains to the government intervention. So we ask, if government can be blamed for cedi depreciation, why can't this same government be credited for the appreciation in the value of the cedi? Anyway, we leave this to the judgment of you discerning Ghanaians, and that's typical of the NDC. We also find it as gratifying that, owing to the massive appreciation in the value of the cedi, prices of petroleum products at the pump have reduced, resulting in a 15.3% reduction in transport fares as announced by the transport unions. Although I must admit that these developments may not entirely address the prevailing socio-economic condition in the country, we do believe strongly that they may offer a sigh of relief to Ghanaians, especially as we approach the festive season. Certainly, there could not have been a better Christmas gift to all of us. And indeed, we must commend this government. On the account of cedi depreciation, reduction in the fuel prices, transport fares, we appeal to all manufacturers and traders to also reduce prices of commodities to conform with this reality. Please, we beg you, for the sake of this country, as you can all attest, that prices of transport fares and petroleum products has come down. Kindly also reduce prices of your commodities. Ladies and gentlemen, It is public knowledge that during the recent socio-economic upheavals, our political opponent, the NDC, tried without success to take the advantage of the situation for undeserving political mileage. The NDC and Mahama never missed any opportunity to lash out at government, even though they knew that the challenges were mainly caused by external factors. Indeed, this position was recently confirmed by the IMF through its managing director, Kristalina Georgieva, who, on the 5th of September 2022, at the African Adaptation Summit in the Netherlands, stated categorically that the economic challenges confronting Ghana cannot be attributed to government policies, but rather exogenous shocks occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic and Russia-Ukraine war. She added that, but for these external factors, the Ghanaian economy would have remained strong and resilient. But for these external factors, Ghanaian economy would have remained strong and resilient. Ladies and gentlemen, it is interesting that even the NDC, Dramani Mahama, completely agrees with the NPP government and the IMF that indeed the COVID pandemic and the war in Ukraine are the root causes of our current socio-economic challenges, except that for John Mahama, His Excellency, he only makes this admission when he's addressing international audiences. However, he tells Ghanaians to blame the Akufo-Addo government for all economic woes and not COVID and Ukraine-Russian war. Whenever he goes outside, he admits it. But when he comes to Ghana, he turns to something else. How opportunistic. We in the NPP do not shy away from our records and are ready to debate our political opponents on any day. The Ghanaian people are the best judges. The Ghanaian people have not forgotten the records of John Mahama and the NDC. The Ghanaian people are very much aware of the fact that during their tenure, even without any global economic crisis, the John Mahama-led NDC government was so overwhelmed by their own incompetence that they could not even keep our lights on, plunging this country into darkness for 4 years while destroying many livelihoods. As we can all attest today, the Doomsday crisis was fixed in the first year of the Akufo-Addo administration. The NDC and Mahama could also not implement any social intervention program to mitigate the suffering of Ghanaians. To make matters worse, the existing ones were either destroyed or cancelled by them. Mention can be made of teacher training allowance, nursing training allowance, among others. Even the irony of it was that even teachers who were recruited for over a year, they were never paid. When they were going to be paid, a directive was given that, oh, we can only pay you 3 months. What happened to the remaining 8 months? But in our case, despite the lingering impact of the global pandemic and Russia-Ukraine war, resulting in the worst global social economic crisis in more than 7 decades, the NPP government led by President Akufo-Addo is still able to sustain its ambitious interventions, such as the free senior high school, one district, one factory initiative, among others. We have also been able to consistently pay salaries on time, and we have undertaken unprecedented building of roads and railway infrastructure, and we throw challenge to NDC to produce this. Even more significant.
So that's Justin Kodia Frimpong. He's the General Secretary of the governing New Patriotic Party. Well, the party is also raising some more issues, asking the NDC to apologize owing to the leaked audio in which the now national chairperson of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, has heard, confessing that the party did not have its collated figures at the time of going to court for the 2020 presidential petition. Let's get more on that. National organizer of the New Patriotic Party, Henry Nana Boachi is joining us in studio. Good afternoon to you, sir, and welcome to the Pulse. It's good to see you.
Yes.
And you've gone into hiding. Is that accurate or not hiding?
Oh, no, not really. I mean, I think I saw you about 2 days ago.
And
then we made an arrangement that I'm going to appear on your show. I was somewhere, but I have great respect for your platform. So I had to make sure that I put in an appearance.
Welcome. And quite a lot has happened. In fact, in the last few hours, your General Secretary has addressed the press. A number of issues have been raised. Let's start off on the issue of the 2020 presidential petition. You're asking the NDC to apologize to Ghanaians. Why?
Yes, I think that the NDC and its leader then, candidate Mahama, former President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I think they've been very dishonest to the people of Ghana. They've conducted themselves in a manner which potentially could have plunged the country into chaos. You recall that after the declaration of the 2020 election by the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, the NDC and its flag bearer, the former president, had made some comments, not only comments, they actually briefed the nation through a press engagement where they said that they had won the elections. And however, the EC chairperson misconducted herself and then the entire EC, to be precise. So they said that they were going to go to court. And before then, we had not even, they had not presented to us any, shred of evidence. They could not produce any further and better particulars. But yes, we were told that they were going to court. We went to court. I was part of the legal team. Yeah. We sat in the courtroom for almost about 2-3 months, 18 hearings, and I was there every single day, and I was amazed. It appears that they came into the courtroom for fishing expedition. You go into the courtroom and then you are now trying to hit your head everywhere, trying to find evidence. Before then, their people were on the streets, vandalizing state property. They were burning ties. Some were even arrested. Don't forget that even the MPs, the whole MPs, the NDC MPs also joined this particular act where they also marched from Parliament and they said we're going to the Electoral Commission's head office to demand some answers. Very pathetic. And then we said it. And you recall again that even in the courtroom where the current national chairperson, who was supposed to be the star witness, he sat in the courtroom and he was asked several times, did you present any collated figures? Have you brought any evidence to court? So many times he said, no, my lord, we have not brought any figure to court. So in the lead up to their own elections, he's trying to explain to his own party people how they were unable to collate their own results. And it emerged that they could not even collate 5 regions. It emerged that beyond 5 regions, their system crashed. It emerged that even manual collation was very difficult for them. Yet the former president told the entire country that they are crying some stolen verdict and they were not treated fairly. So if this country potentially, what they did, if we had gone into a certain situation, warlike situation, where lives would have been lost, they would have caused it.
I'm glad that you're touching on the fact that you were in court yourself. Part of the facts of the matter before the court was that the NDC had challenged the constitutionality of the EC's declaration twice. And that's been part of the defense that we've been hearing from some of the lawyers, leading figures within the NDC. They say that in as much as the NDC was not in court with figures, they were not getting things clear in terms of how many times the EC would declare its own figures. And adding the EC's figures would even amount to over 100%, which is mathematically not accurate. So these are some of the issues that they presented before the courts as well.
I agree with you. So now you are talking about figures. Now you are saying that the Electoral Commission made a mistake. Initially they said that they had won the elections and per their own calculations is supposed to be a runoff, if you recall. So what kind of calculations did you internally conduct for you to arrive at this conclusion that no person or no candidate crossed the 50+1 vote mark?
Are you saying it's not fair for the NDC to question the
If you
EC's,
question
the
it,
EC's
what
work?
are your figures? No, question it. You can criticize. But the moment you appear before the arena of the courtroom, you cannot be speculating.